Hi everyone. So now we have a database created. I'm now going to create a new database that we can now store our details, login details. So I'm going to call this user details. And in this database, okay, I'm going to create a table called credentials. Because remember, this is going to store the user's usernames and passwords so that when we run the login window, it's going to check whether their username and password exists. Now inside the table I want two fields. I want username, which I'm going to set to text, and then I want a second one which is called password, and I'm going to set that to text. Okay, so I've created a database called user details, a table called credentials, and now I've added a username and password fields. Now in here it's now created, so we've got a table called credentials and the database is called user details. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of people in here. So I've just clicked on the add button there, and I'm going to have username as admin, password as password, and then just to test this I'm going to have a second one called John and their password called Smith. So that's his name. And I'm going to save this database. Okay. Save project. So that's called user details. So we've got admin and password and John and Smith. Okay, so save this. Now go back to the program we created in the previous videos. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to just get rid of window.destroy. I'm going to keep the if statement because we are going to use it. However, not all of it. So I'm just going to delete some of that out there, and I'm going to leave the message boxes in because I want to use them. So at the top, I want to import SQLite 3. And next I want to do inside my login function, I'm going to open the database. So SQLite3.connect, the name of my database, which is user details as DB. And cursor equals DB.cursor. Okay. So now I have created and linked my database with my program. I now need a variable to store the username that I get from the entry box. So uname, okay, so that is the name of the variable, equals username.get, and then users p word equals password.get. So I'm getting them from the name of the two entry boxes. So the username is coming from that entry box and the password is coming from that entry box. So I've just created those two separate variables in there to store their current username and password that the user enters. Now what I'm going to do now is I need to cursor.execute, and what I'm going to do is I am going to do an SQL statement to return all usernames and passwords from the table. So select start from credentials where username equals question mark and password equals question mark, because we don't know what they are. So all we're saying is, right, check the table here, and at the end I'm going to put in my two variable names, which is uname and up word. Need a second closing bracket there. And now I need to do my if statement. So this time, instead of if username is equals to whatever, all I'm going to put in here is if cursor.fetch all. And what that's doing is, right, it's just going to check whether my username and password is in the table. Okay, now if I save this and run this, actually I'm going to have to resave this to where my database is saved. This should now work.